and is eligible to play Week 1. So, Brian, does Gordon's reinstatement calm all concerns for the Pats receiving corps?
You know, unfortunately not. We know the talent that Josh Gordon is, but I think the two most important things in the NFL is availability and dependability. And unfortunately, Josh Gordon missed 2015, 2016, the entire season. He missed parts of 2014 and 2017. And his availability to that team, it just isn't there. You can't depend on him. And so every coach wants to know you're available. Injury, suspension, that you can at least show up. And you also want to know, are you dependable? Meaning the things that you did in practice, can I depend on you to do those same things every single week and in the games? And unfortunately with Josh Gordon, the Patriots appreciated the 40 catches and 720 yards and 3 touchdowns. They appreciate that. And to my opinion, this year, if they get that, that's a bonus. But you can't build a team around his talents. He's super, super talented when he's there. Unfortunately, because of his disease, because of his sicknesses, some of the issues that he's been through, you just can't build around that. He's just not available and dependable to a football team.
Well, here's the thing. I think that Josh Gordon is a special talent. When you look at the physical tools, there are very few wide receivers in the NFL that can rival what Josh Gordon is bringing to the table. But the only question is he going to be able to stay in the right headspace to make sure that he is available throughout the course of the regular season? That's the question that we don't have an answer to, and we won't have an answer to until the regular season kicks off. But in terms of what this Patriots offense is going to look like, we know that Bill Belichick is going to score points. This group has been in the top 10 in scoring the last several seasons, so we know that they're going to be productive in terms of being able to put points on the scoreboard. It's just a matter of what that looks like, and then overall, how good is this group going to be and how they stack up against the upper echelon teams in the AFC. When you think about the Steelers, when you think about the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Texans, those are the teams that are going to be your primary competition in terms of getting out of the AFC and getting back to a 4th straight Super Bowl. So I think that when you have Josh Gordon, that's just going to give Bill Belichick and Tom Brady more answers to the test. They're going to have more ways that they can attack you, exploit the mismatches that they have when they're going up against opposing defenses. So I think that Josh Gordon, if he's able to be available for him, is a fantastic get, because outside of Julian Edelman, you're not talking about having a lot of experienced wide receivers on that football team.
Yeah, I think, look, if Gordon, and it is a big question mark, and I'm sure the Patriots understand that they're proceeding with caution, and they're going to have to do that the entire year. It's not like you can get to week 9, oh, Josh has been great, and then relax. You know, you're going to have to hold your breath all year that he stays available. If he does, though, I think it's a huge help. And I don't have that many concerns about their receiving core on the outside. I think N'Keal Harry, the rookie, is going to be very good, especially if Gordon is there.
Yep.
And Edelman, you know, we know what he brings to the table once he gets healthy. Sony Michel, I think, is a good receiver out of the backfield. I do think the offense is going to look a lot different than what we've been used to, because I don't think they're going to rely on the tight ends as much as they have in the past. And I think they'll rely on the running game. But if the running game is strong, then I think that just opens things up even more for the receivers. So offensively, I think they'll be fine if these guys are available.
Do you think, I mean, is it safe to assume that New England would be the best for him to be available, putting his locker next to Tom Brady's? Is this the situation where if he's going to thrive, it would be with the Patriots?
Well, I would think so, but I think Josh Gordon has to figure out this thing all to himself outside of the game. I mean, it's much bigger than the game for Josh Gordon. It's all about him coming to a place where he says, I don't want to be that anymore. I don't want to be the guy that's undependable, that people can't rely on me anymore. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be a guy that can live a stand-up, good life, whether I play football or not. So really, it's much bigger than the game for Josh Gordon. When I think about the offense, I think about they want to run the football. If you can throw out there a guy that's big, that's physical, that's fast, that helps your offense. That puts the defense at a disadvantage. Now you can dictate things. Now you can say, hey, well, we got 8 men in the box. We're trying to stop Sony Michel. We're going to throw the ball outside one-on-one to Josh Gordon. Give him an opportunity. Defenses have to respect that. And so if you want to turn into a running team, which I think a lot of people believe the Patriots are going to be, having a big-time receiver outside, having him available, having him threaten defenses in ways that you have no other way to do, that's key for this offense.
Well, I think you brought up a great point about Josh Gordon and being able to put the substance abuse issues behind him and make sure that he gets his life back on track. I think being a part of the National Football League puts the structure in place to be able to help him do that. You know, it's hard. Sometimes when you look at guys' situations, it's harder for them to get their lives together if they're away from football. When now that he's back in the fold with the New England Patriots, he's going to have a support staff around him. It gives him a better opportunity. We'll see if he can take advantage of it this time around. I got fingers crossed that he does do that. I'm rooting for Josh Gordon, not just in terms of the productivity on the field, but in terms of just getting his life together.
At this point of the year, where would you rank the Patriots in the AFC? And how much is that dependent on Josh Gordon?
I don't think, for me, obviously you miss Gronk, and obviously he faded a little bit towards the end of last year. But anytime you have Tom Brady and Bill Belichick together, they have to be top five. That's just a guarantee that they're top five in the AFC. Some will put them top three. I think there are a lot of young teams. Kansas City, I think the Texans come up. I think the Colts, if Andrew Luck ever gets healthy, they are a team that will contend. There are some younger teams that will push the Patriots, but right now, when you talk about Belichick and Tom Brady together coming off a Super Bowl, it's just hard not to put them in top 2 or 3 teams already.
Well, if you're talking about competing for championship, you got to be in the playoffs. The easiest way to do that is win your division.
That's right.
The Patriots are going to roll out of bed and win the AFC East. I like what the Jets are doing, but they ain't there yet. So, I mean, you look at that, from that standpoint, they should be in the playoffs. The question is, are they going to be able to compete with the other teams once they get there? You brought up Kansas City. The Chargers is another one. The Steelers are always there. The Ravens. I mean, there's going to be some competition. There's a lot of young teams that are only getting better in that conference. I think in order to put yourself in a better position to do that, you got to make sure that you have some versatility with your offensive attack. And I think Josh Gordon does help them bring that to the table. They become a much more dynamic unit if they have number 10 out there on the field.
When the Patriots, you just mentioned, they will make the playoffs. They'll win the division. What they do better than anyone in the playoffs is they're not going to make any mistakes. They're going to take away what you do well. And then on top of all of those things, they're going to put you in a situation where you have to play to your weaknesses. What are the things you do worse? Those are the things they're going to attack. And the Patriots, they do it better. They game plan, they scheme, and they do it, and they run their game plan better than anyone in the NFL, especially in the playoffs.
Then, assuming they get in the playoffs, assuming they win their division, if they didn't, short of an injury to Tom Brady, what would the slip-up be? Where is an area that you could see a weakness in this organization?
It's explosive plays downfield. Who's going to catch that 3rd and 10, that 3rd and 8, where Gronk was such a big and critical part? Who's going to be that guy that's going to say, listen, now is the time. The defense is taking away everything else, but I know that I can win right away. Julian Edelman may be that guy. Tom Brady's going to have to find some big plays down the field. Having Flash Gordon, that would be huge. But they have to find someone else to take up the slack that Gronk left.
I think the only thing that would keep them out of the playoffs are injuries. Like if this receiving core we're talking about, which I think could be pretty good with the 3 guys we've mentioned, if Harry maybe isn't available, or if Gordon certainly has a slip up, or Edelman, gets injured again, maybe Demaryius Thomas never comes back, then I think those are the things that could keep them from making the playoffs. Outside of that, there's no way they're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, if Tom Brady is healthy, they're going to make the playoffs. Yeah. I ain't worried about that. It's what they do when they get into the playoffs. And keep in mind that the Patriots struggle when they don't have a first-round bye and get into the Super Bowl. So, I mean, it's not just about making sure you get to the playoffs. It's just about making sure that overall record is one of the 2 best in the conference.
All right, Brian, stay where you're at. Coming up, have the Cowboys found Zeke's replacement? That's next on First Things.
Well, running backs are expendable.